As you say, AngloGold Ashanti is defending its chair, Maria Ramos. Ramos is accused by former Business Unity South Africa President Sipho Pichana of improperly influencing the banking regulator, that's the Prudential Authority, to block his appointment as chair of the ABSA board. Now, Pichana claims that ABSA submitted his nomination as chair to the authority. It went through an informal process, he says, consulted with third parties, including former ABSA CEO Maria Ramos, whether he was fit and improper for that role. Now, what Pichana claims is that the long-standing friendship between Ramos and Kuber Naidu, the head of the Prudential Authority, enabled her to have unfettered access to the regulator and doing some influencing on that part. AngloGold, as we said, has defended its chair, Ramos, and also says its sexual harassment case against Pichana was fair and independent, because that came up as well. We'll have more on that particular story and perhaps even speak to Mr. Pichana in the next hour. Well, let's get straight on to the markets. It was a good day indeed, and it's all coming from expectations in the US that we might see some good reporting results in the world's biggest economy. When that happens, you get sentiment rising, and it trickles all the way down to the JSE. Let's see if I'm right. David Shapiro from Sasfin Securities. It has been a good day, David, and I would imagine this has got everything to do with those overseas shares internationally. Not really anything changing on the ground here domestically, has it?
No, look, we're going through some very strong markets globally. We didn't expect it. We thought that inflation would weigh down on sentiment, but quite the opposite. In fact, there was a very strong consumer sentiment reading in the US. Housing sales are very strong there as well. So overall, it's pointing towards the market continuing upwards, through to the end of the year. And the results coming out are beating expectation. I think US corporates are in very, very good health. Remember that they're in good health. Remember, this was a health crisis. It wasn't a financial crisis, but the companies have got through this pretty well, as have householders. So even inflation, if it does rear its head, I think that, between consumers and businesses, they're in good shape and can handle any price increases. So overall, I think markets looking very strong. And it's brushed through here as well. Remember, we've got a lot of companies that operate overseas, that are listed on the JSE. So overall, a very good day.
Yeah, the likes of Process and Naspers up. So listen, you want to get into the battery business these days because you've got electric cars. And I see some of the biggest miners now are looking for that nickel, Sibanye-Stillwater, going over to Brazil, buying these nickel mines, and it's showing in their share price. What do you make of that deal? It's at, what, $1 billion or 15 billion rand deal?
I'm a big supporter of Neil Froneman. He started Sibanye as buying defunct or gold companies that were in the last throes of their life, and he wanted to mine them out and pay dividends. But from that, he's gone into platinum, he's gone into rhodium, a little bit of lithium now in Nevada, and now into the green metals, which are nickel and cobalt, and of course copper. All of those which will form part of of the clean air brigade. So I think credit to Neil, and credit to Neil Froneman, and credit to where he's taking Sibanye from what was a disregarded company that was mining gold now to what is going to be a leading mining house. So I'm behind him, and the market a little skeptical because he borrows money. He did that with Lonmin. He's come out on top. So I think support the man in this one. I think he's a great credit. The sad thing, though, Devin, the sad thing is that he's not investing in South Africa, and we don't really have big nickel deposits. I don't even think, if anything, it's a byproduct. And we don't really have, big copper, mines here, and nor do we have, much on cobalt. That's mainly in the DRC and lithium as well. So if you want to chase those, unfortunately, there's not much left in South Africa for green miners.
All right, so let's go to a company that bakes bread, Tiger Brands. I mean, it's amazing. We had that looting take place in July, but the impact is still trickling down in the results. And then remember, they had this canned food recall. That cost them both together 700 million rand.
Yeah, it's just ongoing for them. They never stop. And they've got such good brands. I mean, from Tiger Brands itself, from Tiger Oats to Black Cat peanut butter to a number of products that we use daily. But it started off a couple of years ago in Nigeria. They lost a lot of money. Then they had this listeriosis, which led to for them selling their meat product division. Then they had the cans, the leaking cans, the leaking coup cans, and then the civil unrest. So it's just one disaster after another. This poor company can't pull out. But if they can just get rid of these, these legacy issues, it's still underlying a very, very strong business. And of course, very well known for its bread and for its maize products and so on. So here's hoping they can finally turn it around. But they have had just a litany of issues that have dragged this poor business down.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. David Shapiro from Sasfin, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Well, let's then take a look at those markets. As we said, a strong day, and it's coming off improved global sentiment. That oil price still going up, with the rand losing some traction against the US dollar. Here's a look.